So I ended up doing the time-lapse in the end. Who cares? I am indecisive and I thought it would work better than doing just a bunch of progress updates for each wall because, let's face it, they are pretty much the same. But I have to admit, now that it is all gone and done and complete, I am feeling fairly happy with it. I feel, like I say, that it is now complete. So what I am going to start working on is I want to put a glass roof on it. My plan is that the storage area for our gold farm is actually going to be up here. I was originally considering hooking up the gold blocks up over to our storage area that we have in the center of the base, and perhaps one day I might do that and then have a switch between this storage area and this one. But for the minute, I think it would be nice to keep all of the gold farms centered around the gold farm. We need an excuse to come over to this giant hole and take a look at the gold farm itself. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting a glass roof or floor down. I guess it is a floor if you're up top and a roof if you were down at the bottom. So I think this will look really cool and it is going to fill the entire area. So I'm going to quickly get to work on this one and then I will catch you guys in a little bit. Why do bad things happen to good people? So that is all done now. The roof of our gold farm is complete. We really are knocking them down today. We've done the roof and also the walls, and as you can see, I have splashed out a little bit here because we have used a little bit of glowstone. That is all of the glowstone that I had. Those 8 blocks, we now have absolutely none of it. So yeah, I'm not particularly good at getting glowstone, so don't expect to see this popping up in many builds in the future. I'm going to have to work up the courage to go back into the nether to pick up some more. But anyway, as you can see over here, I am trying to work out what sort of chest setup we want. So what I was thinking is we will go 2 from the end and just have it in the middle here. Let's see how many that is. Just a chest down like that. And we will go 2 to the end. So that is this block here. So we just need a few more now. Them and then these ones. And these ones, and then also we will have a second layer. I don't have enough regular chests to do that at the minute, but yes, this will be where the second layer is, and I would say that is a pretty decent number of chests for our gold farm. Obviously, we're going to have an item elevator that will transport the gold upwards, and then it will put it down into all of these chests. I'm just trying to get a rough idea of where these are going to be going, how many chests we need, but I reckon that is more than enough. We aren't going to be getting more than that much gold, I don't think. If we do, obviously I'll be very happy, but I highly doubt it. I actually ended up scooching all of these chests back a little bit because I didn't like the way they looked just sat out there in the open. I thought it looked fairly silly. I was planning on having all of the redstone on show, but on hindsight that is a stupid idea because redstone is never particularly good looking. So, we have got all of these chests here now. They are all accessible. They are all large chests. And hopefully one day they will all fill up with golden nuggets so that we can create tons and tons of gold. But the golden nuggets, they are down there. And that is a bit of a problem because we want them to be up here. Now, obviously, if ender chests and hoppers worked like I proposed in my April Fool's video, then we would have a very easy job doing that indeed. But sadly, they do not. So that means that we are going to have to do a little bit of work here, gathering the items from down at the bottom all the way up to the top. We are going to use an item elevator, and that means that I'm going to hop into my redstone testing world and give it a quick go because I want to make sure that these item elevators actually work. And just as expected, it is all working smoothly. This is of course the elevator by test. I myself have done a video on it. A link to that one will be down in the description, but also obviously Test did a video on it and a link to that one will be down in the description as well, hopefully, if I remember. But the reason that I'm testing this is because I haven't built one of these since about 1.7.2, and occasionally with things like this, it's sort of a bug. They do tend to get fixed by Mojang, so I just wanted to make sure that it was all functioning, and it is, which is brilliant. I have just done a whole bunch more. First off, I placed back all of the water down there because I'd forgotten to do it. So now the gold farm is in full working order. There we go, he is now on the move and straight into the cactuses. That's what I like to see. You can see that we have just over a stack of golden nuggets. Not too bad, I guess you could say. Also, I have done a bunch of clearing. We now have room for our item elevator and also a little snippet of space up there so that we have room for our hoppers. But what I have to do now is I have to do our little sorting system, because we want to sort out all of the zombie flesh from the gold. We don't want any of the zombie flesh because that stuff is rubbish. So I am going to have to hop back to the base now and pick up a few bits and bobs, and then I'll get to work on that one. Just finishing up on this one here. I know you can't really see what is going on, but we have now got to place down all of the redstone for this build. So we need the comparator running out of this chest here, and I will eventually fill that up a little bit with our rotten flesh. And then we need a bit of redstone running down like this. And I have gone into tutorial mode. This is what happens when I start recording redstone on camera. But anyway, now all I have to do is chuck a whole bunch of zombie flesh in here, and we should be good to go. So that will flow through into the chest, but then it will stop when we get to 18. Yes, so that will stop, and that is done. So now we have a little zombie flesh sorter. One thing that I will say is that will eventually back up. So I think what I'm going to have to do is I will add in a automatic dropper that will just fire out all of the zombie flesh. But we do need another automatic dropper up the top here, because we need it to drop all of the items off into the water, so then it can run into our water stream. So I'll quickly get to work on that one as well. I'm a little bit wary because this guy has just wandered into my redstone area, and I'm mining and punching away, and it's a little bit scary because I definitely don't want a repeat of last time. Also, we've got ourselves a giant slime down there. I forget that we have space under this thing, so we basically have a slime farm and also a gold farm. Just go on, go out that door. I don't want another one to come in. Oh, this is going to get awful very quickly. But anyway, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create the water stream. So the water is going to go out round like this, and then we need at least 2 blocks of regular blocks so that all of the items can stack up, and then they will go into the center here, which is going to be our item elevator. So I think the central part needs to be a regular block, then this one needs to be ice. I can't remember which way round it goes, but it is something like that. But anyway, then we will have a fence post here, a fence post here, and a bunch of blocks. You have all seen these item elevators before, but now we need to chuck some water in. I have my water bucket somewhere, and I will go out the front, pick up some water here, and we will put it into the stream. Hopefully this doesn't overflow into the redstone. I'm going to check that everything is waterproof. Right, that is good. Will it make it to the end? That's the important question. No. Bummer. I need a bunch of glass to do this item elevator, but of course I am fresh out of sand, which really is a shame. So what I am going to do is I'm going to do a third-person time-lapse of me filling my whole inventory with sand. It's only going to be about a minute, minute and a half long, so I hope that you enjoy it. So after about 15 to 20 minutes worth of farming there, I managed to get myself an inventory full. That's over in the chest, and then some. You can see I have a whole bunch in my inventory as well, and whoa! Whoa! Oh god! Oh no! No! They are everywhere! These social zombies are going to kill me! I'm so out of here. I need to just pick up my sand and run, because I don't want any of this. Oh, okay, right. Moving on. We're back. Gonna head back now over to the Mumbo Jumbo Jungle Base because we are going to continue working on that item elevator. I panicked a little bit there. Look how many there are. Woo. Now, the item elevator is all done. All of the items are transported from the floor all the way up to the top. As you just conveniently saw, I didn't plan that. I didn't start recording when it happened, but you can see that actually we get a fairly decent number of golden nuggets, and they are coming right the way up to the top. Ideally, I would have liked to have this elevator on display, but sadly, there really isn't any way that I can do it. Obviously, I've boxed it in pretty good because we want the gold farm to be boxed in. We don't want to have any zombie pigmen wandering in and somehow managing to make their way up here because, like I say, zombie pigmen stress me out and I don't want to be dealing with those guys. So now, what we have to do is we have to make it so that the items go from here along a line and go into all of these chests. So, I originally had a bunch of hoppers inside my inventory. I was just going to do a standard hopper line, but I thought, I don't know if I really want to do that. I don't want to do hoppers. Instead, we will continue on the water stream. So, what I'm going to do is make a water stream that transports our golden nuggets along, and then they make their way over here. Then they go into the hoppers, which then go into the chest, which then goes into my pocket and into other areas in which I want to use gold. Sounds like a pretty good plan to me. Finally, the entire process is done. We have got some golden nuggets in this chest. They are being transported from down at the bottom, moving on up, going along this water stream here, and then they are ending up in our hoppers. If we take a look, don't worry, I'm not going to be keeping it like this because it is but ugly at the minute, but hopefully we will see an item travel along here. I'll give it a little time to do it. But this has just been such a lengthy process. I don't know why it has taken so long, because usually this would be a really simple task. But I've got to tell you, this made me laugh a little bit. Farnborough Air Show is something that happens every 2 years, and it is a really massive air show in England, where a lot of the trade people go. They all go there to buy weapons and things, and yeah, it's a pretty massive air show in terms of international scale. And it happens about 2-3 miles away, but obviously they do all the flybys and they do all of that crazy stuff, which really is wonderful to watch. But the trade days, they all started today. They start a week before the actual show, and that means that I have had some of the loudest fighter jets just flying straight over my house while I'm trying to record. And that has meant that every time I hit the record button and start talking, I would then get a... So then I had to start again. I had to start recording that little cut again, which means that every single cut that you see in this video has probably been recorded 4 or 5 times, which is why they are all so short. You may have noticed that there are a lot of jump cuts in this one. They're all about 30 seconds long. That is why. F-15s, Red Arrows, Typhoons, Eurofighters, Harrier jump jets, helicopters, you name it. It has been over my house and it has obstructed my recording of this video. So if you are upset that this one is a little bit shorter, then please do blame the British Army and all the people that are buying fighter jets. I mean, who on earth is buying fighter jets anyway? That's what I want to know. But anyway, that is all I've got time for today, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode of Hermitcraft. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I am out. I'll see you later. Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 80! We're on episode 80! It is the big 80, and I am very happy about that. Can you imagine 80 episodes? I never thought we would get this many episodes ever. I mean, that is a perfectly good reason to celebrate right there. Let's just do a little bit of dancing. 80 episodes, wow! That's not bad, is it? But anyway, what are we going to be doing in today's episode? Well, we're going to be doing a bunch of odds and sods. But before we begin, I just want to say a couple things, because I've been getting a bunch of questions recently. First one is, why on earth are you not doing the ultra hardcore series? And that is a very good question. It is because it is the beginning of exam season, and on the day that they recorded it at 12 o'clock at night, and I had a graphics controlled assessment the next day. So that is a shame. I do really want to get involved in it, and I will eventually get involved in it if they do another season, which looks fairly likely if you're asking me. So yeah, I am very, very excited. I don't know who the winner is before anyone asks, so that hasn't actually been released to any of the other hermits, but I have been watching along, and it has been pretty entertaining so far. So yeah, I am looking forward to getting involved in that at some point in the near future. Now, the next thing that I want to say is that exams, unfortunately, are coming up. My first exam is on Monday. It is a maths exam, for anyone that is wondering. I study maths, physics, graphics, and ICT, and yeah, I've got my first maths exam on Monday, and I'm just gonna have to put a lot of work in over the weekend. But if you do see a slight drop in videos, then that is why. So just get prepared for that if it ever does happen. I don't know if it will, but if it does, then that is the reason for it. But anyway, what are we going to be doing to start things off? Well, we're going to be heading over to the new Hermiton real quick. So here we are then. It has been a while since I've been over here. I haven't done any episodes over here recently. The last thing that we did though is we did the Labyrinth project, and no other hermits have actually done it yet because there were a few things that I needed to fix, and there were blocks all over the place. It didn't look too good, didn't look finished basically. So my current time to beat is 154, but what I thought I would do is I want to have a run of the maze. It's been a while since I've done a run of the maze, so let's just check the timer. Oh, that's not good. It doesn't work. We're gonna have to fix that up. So I just popped into my redstone testing world to try and work out what on earth has gone wrong with the timer that we built on a Hermitcraft. I am fairly certain that it was a carbon copy of this, pretty much exactly the same, but it turns out quite clearly that it isn't, because it isn't working. So anyway, this is the timer. This is like the timing hopper here. So if we quickly give it a go, stand on these tripwires, and then we run all the way down, stand on the other ones, you can see that our time was officially 7 blocks. Okay, so 7 blocks have passed in the time it took for us to go from there over to there. And then we also have this reset button at the top here so that we can actually reset the time and it goes back into the other hopper. It really is quite smart. Now, for some reason, I have not been able to produce this on Hermitcraft. As you know, I have done a bunch of iterations of this design on Hermitcraft. None of them have worked so far. So hopefully, if we rebuild this completely, we will be able to get it to work. Let's cross our fingers, please. All the blocks are gone. Now it is time to start slapping the redstone about. I think I have finally got it up and running. So let's give it a tester, okay? So this is our input line. So if we hit this button here, which is like false inputs, that's what we've just done there. Let's take a look. We should have items flowing into this hopper. That is going to be our timer hopper, the one that is actually counting for us. Then once they are finished, they will obviously hit the output line, which is this one over here, and we should see that all of the items have stopped moving. Now, I haven't done a test of this yet, but bonk. Okay, so that has taken 41 items for us to do that, and then once we hit this button here, we should see that these items go down and begin to flow back into this other hopper. To me, that looks like it's working. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to test out the maze. I'm going to do a maze run. I don't know if I'm going to include the footage of the maze run actually in the video or right at the very end after the outro, like as a blooper or something. I don't know, but it is going to be in the video, so you can watch that if you want to. Next up, in the grand scheme of things, we are going to be heading over to the fishing town. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing any building over there. I'm not in the mood for building at the minute. I just want to do technical stuff. But one of the reasons why I don't seem to have any items is because I have left a whole bunch of it over at the fishing town. So let's go pick it up. The days. I'd forgotten about this. Here is the fishing town. It's been a while since I've been over here. For any of you guys who are new, this is a little project that I worked on about 30 episodes ago, and I haven't really finished it, mainly because people didn't particularly enjoy me working on it. I'm a technical guy. People expect to watch my videos for technical things, and if I start just doing mini let's build videos of me actually building houses and stuff, then I don't know, it's not what you really expect from my channel, I guess you could say. So I tried to make it a little bit more technical by adding in all of the redstone. We have like a 3x3 piston door over there. But anyway, let's take a look at all the resources that we have. Oh. You know what? I was expecting a lot more than this. At the minute, it is just dirt and more dirt and leaves. Okay, maybe I am just running low on general resources then. I was expecting to see just tons and tons of the stuff in here. But no, it looks like I've just dumped a bunch of rubbish and then took all the good stuff back to my base. That's a bit annoying. What I thought we would do in today's episode is we're going to make a tunnel between this area here and the gold farm. The gold farm is literally about 5 seconds away if we were to be able to walk straight on through all these blocks, but obviously all of these things are here instead. So what we're going to do is set up a mini tunnel that will go out like this, around, and then somehow into the gold farm. I'll have to work it out, do a little bit of mapping and trying to find the routes, but it should work because the gold farm is literally just past that block right there. So anyway, I am going to get to work on digging this area out, and then I will catch you guys in a little bit. We have broken through! Granted, it's not the most pretty thing in the history of man. It certainly isn't the most elegant tunnel at the minute. I mean, clearly we can't even get into it. That's a bit of a problem. But anyway, if we just hop on up through here, you can see that it really is a short little trip around. It's not particularly long, and I don't really know what we're going to be doing for it. As far as decoration is concerned, I don't know. What can we do in a tunnel? I haven't done a tunnel design in donkey's years, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to hop into a testing world of some sort to come up with some designs in my head, give me some peace of mind that this thing is actually going to look half decent, because we wouldn't want an ugly tunnel. So this is the tunnel design that we are going to be going for, and I'm going to go straight out and say it for you. It's not the best looking thing in the world. Okay, it looks pretty good, but it certainly isn't the best looking tunnel ever built. I don't know who has built the best looking tunnel, but it certainly wasn't me. But oh well, I would say it functions. It looks okay. It's not awful. Definitely not the worst tunnel I've ever built, because I've built some pretty bad ones. So yeah, I think this is going to work fairly nicely on the Hermitcraft server. So anyway, let us pop back on there and get to work on building this thing. The first little section of our tunnel is done, but sadly, I am all out of sand. Can you believe it? Can you actually believe it? I did a little bit of a stupid thing when I was building that thing that I was doing. What was I even doing that required so much sand last time? Oh yeah, all the glass on top of the gold farm. Turns out I actually spelted all of the sand. So we now have an endless supply of glass, but sadly no sand. Which means we're going to have to do another one of those third-person time-lapse things.
What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do. What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do. What I do, what I do, da da do, da da do.
On earth? It has been a couple of days since my last cut, and that is because the air show is back in town. Now, I myself absolutely love the air show. I love anything aeronautical, and I will be going to Farnborough Air Show this year if anyone else is going, because it is such an awesome event. But when you live quite near to it, it does cause the problem of being very loud, and that does obviously obstruct recording. I actually had a real trouble recording the last episode of Hermitcraft because I had a bunch of fighter jets just whizzing over my house, making everything shake, and yeah, I just had to record in really short cuts to make sure that didn't happen. But anyway, I have made a little bit of progress here. You can see I have got an ender pearl elevator in, and I have also cleared out all of this area down here. Now, the tunnel that is at the bottom is going to be 4 blocks wide, and that is because this ender pearl elevator up at the top here is 2 blocks wide, so we don't want it to be off center because that will look really ugly. So what I'm going to do is I am going to continue working on this tunnel. We're going to drag it all the way along here and then all the way over to the gold farm. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long and we'll be able to get it all done. So I have done a bunch of work on this thing and we're almost complete. We are almost there, I think, anyway, I hope, because this has actually taken a fairly long time. I don't really do that many tunnels, but I always forget just how long it takes to do that same repeating pattern over and over again. But anyway, as you can see, we have got ourselves the drop chute, and one little thing that I will say is that this ender pearl elevator doesn't seem to work particularly well. It only works if I'm standing on the edge here and I ender pearl up. So maybe that's something to do with the water that I have at the bottom. I don't know. Can you guys comment and let me know what I've done wrong there? Because as far as I can see, everything is alright. But anyway, if we take a look at the tunnel itself, you can see it looks pretty good, doesn't it? It's not actually that ugly, which is amazing, really, considering I built it. So yeah, the tunnel is coming along very nicely. All we have to do is bend it around this corner and we will be done and dusted. Pretty excited for that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that project all done. We now have ourselves a fully functional and probably slightly unfinished there because I've missed those few blocks. So hang on a minute. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a fully functional tunnel. Yes, we have finally done it. That is the tunnel from our gold farm all the way up into our sugarcane farm room, plus obsidian generator, plus potion area, plus external storage, plus 4x4 vault door room. Yeah, it's a pretty big one, and oh, it looks like I have missed another spot. Maybe this wasn't quite as complete as I originally imagined. Hang on a minute. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joking. Anyway, so what we're going to do now is we are going to crack on with a few more projects because that was all I had planned for today's episode. For some reason, I thought that would take a lot longer than it did, but we have come up with a little bit short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and think of some more things to do, and then I'll catch you guys in a little bit. Plan number 1, fix this. Plan number 1 is now done. Plan 2, fix this. Plan 2 is done. Plan 3, get rid of this pillar. Working on it. As you saw there, I came up with a bunch of plans, but sadly, a lot of them were fairly temporary, I guess you could say. They took a couple of seconds at most. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would crack on with some of your comments. Now what I mean by that is a lot of you suggest really great ideas, and obviously I get hundreds upon hundreds of comments, and often I can't read them, but occasionally when scrolling through the comment section, I just catch an absolute golden one. And one of those was to change all of this glass for purple stained glass. That's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? It just makes so much sense. It will make it look like a giant nether portal, and I just thought that was absolutely genius. So that is what we're going to be doing. I might end up time-lapsing it depending on how long it takes, so I will catch you guys in a couple of seconds. So there we go, that is all done. All of our purple glass is now in place, and although it isn't necessarily the prettiest thing in the world, it's definitely not like pretty, it definitely suits the theme. We've got all the purples going on. You can definitely tell that this is nethery. I know you could probably already tell that due to the massive nether portals that we have underneath, but this just adds to that. I know this place definitely definitely isn't the best looking place in my base, or of course on the server. I mean, seriously, you don't have to tell me that, okay? I know it is just a giant square hole in the floor, and eventually I probably will get to work on making it look a lot better, because let's face it, this could be absolutely awesome. If we could make this look good, that would be wicked. Have a giant, very nice looking hole, that would be the bee's knees. But at the minute, it's not looking very nice at all. You know, we've got all of this item elevator here. One thing as well, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, oh, when you were mining all that glass, you were wasting it. Of course, we have hoppers down at the bottom, which means it was just carted back up to the top for me. That's very nice, isn't it? That's always helpful when all of your items are just brought back up. Or the ones that you drop, they are just brought back up to the top with you. But anyway, that is that done. That is the nether portal done. We've got the tunnels done as well. And also, we fixed up the labyrinth. But unfortunately, that is all I've got time for today, folks. I hope that you've enjoyed today's episode on the Hermitcraft server. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Before we begin, I just want to make one excuse. It is very tropical in England right now. It is so hot. I think it's peaked at about 18 degrees today, which is boiling. Shorts and t-shirts. You can see all of the chavvy people out in the town with next to no clothes on. It's awful to look at, really. It really isn't very nice. But it just shows you that the English summertime has in fact arrived. But anyway, let's just crack straight on with this one. Drop through and we will get on with the first layer. And I've done it wrong straight away. Absolutely brilliant. I believe it goes round like this and then off to the left. And that is the first layer done. What a beast. What a beast. I got that done pretty quick. And then this one is fairly easy as well. Yep, I thought so. I've done a lot of these very predictably. So that didn't go particularly to plan. But, yeah, they're all fairly predictable in the way that they're laid out. I'm not an expert maze designer. I don't even know if that's a proper job or not, but I certainly want it. If that's an actual job, anyone looking for maze builders, please do hit me up. I know I'm not particularly good at it, quite clearly, but it would be really, really good fun. How fun would that be? Anyway, we are now on the third layer here, and I just got that wrong. This is actually quite tough. It really is quite, like, disorientating walking around the maze. You don't really know where you are. Another annoying thing about doing these things is the fact that you can't run all the way through. You can't run because you hit all the walls, and that just means that you slow yourself right down. But anyway, I think we are on the last layer here, and that is us done. Okay, that is the official time for me on the maze. Let's go up top and take a look. Oh, 158. That is 4 items slower than my original time. Ah, I'm a really competitive person, even if the only person that I'm racing is in fact myself. I'm going to chuck myself down here anyway. So we've got Mumbo 154, Mumbo 158. Any hermits that are now watching this video, you must know that the labyrinth is now open, okay? It's been closed for a fairly long time now, but it's finally open, and it is finally functioning as a maze. The timer is working. Look, I'll hit the reset button, and they are going to do exactly what they are meant to do. So any hermits that are watching this right now, please do pop on over and give it a quick run, because it is so much fun, and I want to see what you guys can do. Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft server. It is episode 81, and of course we are over here in my new tunnel, my new Fandangle tunnel. We built this in the last episode, and you know what? I'm actually quite happy with it. Taking a look, when I first built the tunnel, I was like, oh, that is quite ugly, but looking at it, it's actually not that bad, is it? It really isn't terrible. As far as things that I've built is concerned, I would say this thing looks pretty sweet. But anyway, I've got a few announcements to make, so I thought I would make them right at the beginning of this episode. The first thing is that I really need to keep mentioning, because I just keep forgetting about it, is the fact that I actually have a merchandise store. Yeah, I sell merchandise. You could buy t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, and all that good stuff. A link to that will be in the description, and hopefully I will remember to put it in the description of every single video from now on. I'm not particularly good at links in descriptions. Seems to be like my worst point, but hopefully I will remember it from now on. And also, the next thing that I want to say is that I have just finished the first exam in my first batch of exams. All of my exams are in batches of like different groups, and my first batch is completely done. It is done, and I feel so good. There were 2 maths exams and 2 physics exams. Both the maths exams went fairly well, and the physics one went alright. So yeah, I would say it's been a pretty good one. I'm not too worried about all that stuff. So I'm feeling happy right now. I really am, because it means that I can actually get back to recording a few Minecraft videos. I haven't recorded a video for a week, which is, whoa, it doesn't feel good, I'll tell you that. So yeah, I am happy to be back here on the Hermitcraft server, cracking on with some brilliant projects. From all of those golden nuggets that we had from the gold farm, we have managed to create a whopping one block of gold. Okay, it's not quite the rates of the iron foundry, but it is definitely doing the job. So I thought we would rename this gold block to First Homemade Gold Block. Brilliant. Okay, has that gone? Okay, there we go. That is the first homemade gold block. Hopefully I haven't spelt something wrong there, otherwise that'll be embarrassing. And we will chuck this into this chest here. Nice, that has got a soft spot in my heart right there. Now, the first mini project that we are going to be doing in today's episode is we are going to be connecting this little area here up to the main base, because I've realised recently, in fact, I'll be honest, I almost forgot that this thing was here. I almost forgot that we actually have a small farming central right in my base, because it isn't connected up to the base. And although we've got this really lovely entrance area in which you fall down through all the hay bales, I personally really like being able to move around my base underground, because it feels pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear out the space from here over into the main area. I don't know where we're actually going to be coming off. I suppose it will be over near the enchanting area. At least that's what I'm hoping for. So we could just take out this I don't know. Maybe we could make like a little secret piston door. Oh, that's such a good idea, because we've got bookshelves. Secret piston door. So here is my plan. I have been doing a whole bunch of work in my redstone testing world, testing out 3x3 piston doors, because I don't know if you remember, behind our enchanting table we had a 3x3 wall of bookshelves, and I think it would be so cool if that could just all open up when we do something secretive with redstone. That could be like a torch key or an item key or any other secret stuff. I've done plenty of them on my channel, so I'm sure I'll think of one. But the only problem that I have found is that 3x3 doors were broken. I say were because I got to it and I've managed to fix one up, and as you can see, it is in perfect working order. Ultra compact, super fast. I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks pretty good as well. The opening and closing sequences are all in sync. You really can't ask for much more from a 3x3, so pretty proud of this one. So now let's head on to the Hermitcraft server and get our building hat on. Well, at least I know that I have enough space to fit redstone down there. So, you will be more than happy to know that I have now finished the bottom part of the door. And for anyone that's ever built a 3x3 door before, unless you're building one that's really weird, often the bottom part is the most difficult, because that has all of the crazy double piston circuitry that goes on and all that block swapping stuff. So if we take a look here, you can see that we get our 2 center blocks. These are the important things, and then when we flick this lever once again, we should hopefully have the full retraction. So that is all working. I was a little bit worried because this design is really fast. I was worried that it was going to leave the blocks behind, because the Hermitcraft server can occasionally, very rarely, be a little bit laggy, especially when working in my base, because I have a ton of redstone stuff going on as it is. But it all seems to be working pretty smoothly, so I'm pretty happy with this, and I'm going to continue building our 3x3. We should be done by the next one, because it's plain sailing from here. So the 3x3 itself is now completely done. If we just flick this lever here, you can see that it all closes up, and then when we flick it again, we get that really awesome opening and closing sequence there. So anyway, what we need to do now is we need to chuck all of the bookshelves in, and I want to see what this looks like once it's all together. I suppose it will just look like a wall. There's not much else I can do with it. So yeah, we'll chuck all the bookshelves in, and I'm already excited. Oh yeah, I can't take a look at it from out there without having to open and close the door, in which case I won't get to the input. Silly me. But anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to link up a redstone torch key to this door. And what I'm thinking is the torch key needs to be in this sort of area. We've got a bit of a problem here because we have a lot of stuff going on. We've got these buttons that control the anvil replacement. We could put it like over on this side and then it goes all the way under and to the other side. That might be a good idea. I reckon that'll work. I hate to blow my own trumpet here, but I would say I've come up with a fairly smart redstone torch key design. Underneath here, we've got ourselves a furnace, and that's got an item in it. And then we have a block here, and we should actually be taking an output. So this doesn't actually have any items in it. If we chuck some items in now, and we replace this block, we should see that, yes, this comparator is turned on. So now, when we place a redstone torch, the block will jump upwards, and yes, we do get a slight disruption in the signal, which means that we can actually use this as a redstone torch key. So if we replace these bookshelves, which I can't do because I didn't use Silk Touch, so say this was a bookshelf, when we place this redstone torch, obviously it will get broken, but we will be taking an output from that. I'd say that's pretty clever. I'm fairly proud of this. We're doing well today. So here comes the moment of truth. Plonk down our redstone torch. Oh no. What on earth? That's really strange. It's like it's self-closing. I don't know whether to be happy or sad about that. I've got a T flip-flop over there, but evidently it's not working too well. How peculiar. The main problem with working very compactly is that you don't have a lot of space between things, and if you make a little mistake, it can lead to some funny problems, like that one that you just saw. But anyway, if we place down our redstone torch here, you can see that our door opens up, and when we place it down again, you can see it all closes back together, so that is fine. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight on and mine out all of the area behind the bookshelves all the way over to the farming room. I doubt I'm going to do any decorating today because I want to do some other technical stuff. I really am in a technical mood today. So yeah, I'm going to mine out the tunnel and then we will leave the decorating for another day. Surprisingly, that project really wasn't that lengthy. As you can see here, obviously we have our torch key, that's still there, and then we have this tunnel, we have the pressure plates that then close up the door behind us to keep us nice and secretive and all that, and then we can just walk up into our farming room. And one thing that I have just realised is that this isn't particularly secretive, because if you came to the farming room, you'd be like, oh, what's this tunnel? And then you'd walk down there and be like, oh, it's the bookshelves in the enchanting room. But oh well, it's all fun and games. And then obviously when we want to come back through, just stand on the pressure plates, everything opens up nice and quickly. We just need to use the torch key to close it all back up. But that is that one done. Like I say, we will be decorating the tunnel at some point in the near future, because I did a tunnel last episode, don't want to be doing another one again. So anyway, on to the next project. Now, as you may notice here, we actually have a little bit of space underneath the gold farm, and as you can quite clearly see, although it is also filled with mobs, it has slimes in it. It actually has slimes in it, which means that we could use this as a slime farm. Alright, so that is the plan. We're going to be using this bottom area down here as a slime farm, and I think the first thing that we have to do is we definitely have to light this place up, because although there are in fact plenty of slimes over here, there are also plenty of other mobs, and it's the other mobs that we definitely don't want. But wow, these slime guys are everywhere. Look, there's some in here. I don't want to break any redstone, but this looks like it's going to be pretty successful. So what I'm going to do is I think I will probably end up covering the entire floor with jack-o'-lanterns, or at least spacing them like one block apart, just so I can make sure that there is absolutely no chance that any other mob will spawn in this area. So I'm going to crack on with that one, and then I will catch you guys in a little bit. So this was another case of Obsidian making a very easy job 10 bazillion times harder. It really is very annoying. I don't know if you guys remember. You probably do remember, because a lot of you took the mick out of me for this. I messed up the gold farm originally, and obviously when you mess up a structure that is made entirely of obsidian, A, you begin to regret it very quickly, and B, it takes hours to take down and put back up, and then I made another mistake, and yeah, that whole project was just a bit of a train wreck.